Balloons were released outside the hospital in Pretoria, where an ailing Nelson Mandela remains critically ill, as South Africans offered songs and prayers for the 94-year-old anti-apartheid hero. People have been streaming in their hundreds to offer notes, flowers and prayers for Mandela at a wall surrounding the Mediclinic Heart Hospital, where he remains in a stable but critical condition. Now, according to Nelson Mandela's ex-wife Winnie Mandela, the former South African president is showing great improvement in his health compared to a few days ago. Meanwhile, demonstrators gathered in Pretoria to protest against US President Barack Obama's visit to South Africa.
People are anxious about his health but also want to express pride in the man many consider the father of the nation. South Africa's first black president is suffering from a lung infection. The 94-year-old icon of the anti-apartheid struggle has now spent 20 days in hospital. President Jacob Zuma, who cancelled a visit to Mozambique yesterday to visit Mandela in hospital, said his condition had improved but still remained critical. Mandela's daughter, Makaziwe, admitted on Wednesday night after seeing him that he doesn't look good. She was also highly critical of the behavior of the international media, accusing some of behaving like vultures with their overboard coverage.
Now, over his time as an anti-apartheid activist and as President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela has been credited with many statements that uphold belief in the nobility of the human spirit. On tonight's Words of Wisdom segment, we take a look at a statement made by Mandela during his inaugural speech as President of the Rainbow Nation.
Never, never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Nelson Mandela, former South African president.
Still to come on the news tonight. Spain sets up World's Derby for the Confederations Cup final against Brazil by shooting out Italy in the semis.
Moving on to more local news, Speaker Chama Rajapaksa, speaking at an event in Colombo today, said that in the past the politicians were more concerned about the public than their privileges.
The event to unveil the book titled Kusuma, A Leftist Political Life was held in Colombo and was organized by the Kusuma Gunawardena Centenary Committee. A large group including the topic for debate at the Satana Political Debate Program held at the Stein Studio Complex in Ratmalana yesterday was political ethics and the future of democracy. When Mihindu Thera first came to this country, the leader of our country at the time hunted deer for sport. That was the kind of country we were. That is where we started from. We grew up in a wasteful society. We grew up amid the stench of rotting human corpses. Now we have come to an era where there is a king who listens to sermons every poor day. We have had a revolution. We have moved forward as a country, but there are still shortcomings. It is not enough to listen to sermons on Poya Day. We need to look at whether we are acting in accordance with those sermons. In a society where ethics and morality has been destroyed, if they are trying to control the media through law, then it is a joke. It is not something that can be done. Recently, the Media Ministry issued the Code of Ethics for the media that they were preparing to introduce. The common theme was what the government wants. A right that people have had through the law and a right that we have from birth is the right to think. They are trying to introduce this Code of Ethics to completely bury the right to think, the right to listen and the right to express yourself.
තවන්දීමේ අයිතියත් ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමේ අයිතියත් සම්පූර්ණ වලලීම සඳහා තමයි මේ සදාචාර කියන ආචාර ධර්ම කියන මේ ක්‍රියාවලිය ගෙනෙන්නට කටයුතු කරන්නේ.
හැබැයි මාධ්‍යවලත් යම් යම් වගකීම් තියෙනවා. වගකීම් සහගතව ප්‍රකාශ නිකුත් කිරීම.
The media too has a responsibility to make responsible statements. As representatives elected through the public vote, we have a greater responsibility to prepare a code of ethics and follow it more than anyone else. Religious leaders must have a code of ethics. This too has become a necessity today. We cannot design it. If we go to speak about this in Parliament, it will cause an even bigger problem than was caused through trying to interfere in the matters of journalists.
කතා කරන්න ගියොත් එහෙම ඒ පිළිබඳව මේ ඔය මාධ්‍යවේදීන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්නට අත ගැහුවට වැඩි බරපතල තත්ත්වයක් ඒක තුල ඇති වෙනවා.
ඇතිවරණයට යන්න පවතින ආණ්ඩුවට තමන්ට පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන්.
The current government has no development to show to go in for an election. This file contains all the wrongs committed by politicians over the past 2 to 3 months. This is what was reported in the media. I have collected paper clippings of these. If this code of ethics that the government is trying to introduce is implemented, then you will not be able to collate a file like this. Ethics are being destroyed so politicians can use their power to protect themselves. But the people will not know, we will not know, and we will have no system to talk about it. They are not trying to introduce ethics for the media, for the well-being of the country. In order to keep their power, they need to do away with certain things that are ingrained in democracy.
තමන්ගේ බලය සඳහා යන්න බොහෝ මේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී ඇතුලේ තියෙන බොහෝ දේවල් නැති කරන්න ඕන.
The Supreme Court today accepted that the Attorney General has a right to appeal against the verdict given by the Court of Appeal in relation to the Parliamentary Select Committee that was appointed to look into the impeachment motion against the former Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike. This was when the appeal was called before a 5-judge bench at the Supreme Court.
At the hearing, the bench said that the Attorney General had a legal right to file an appeal. Earlier, the Court of Appeal had decided that the Parliamentary Select Committee had no legitimacy to examine the impeachment motion against the former Chief Justice. Filing an appeal against the decision, the Attorney General has said that as the decision would set a bad precedent, it should be revoked. Parliamentarians Vijitha Herath and R. Sambanthan, who were initial members of the Parliamentary Select Committee and then stepped down from it, raised objection to this. The MPs pointed out that when the petition was called before the Court of Appeal earlier, the Attorney General was not a stakeholder and thereby he cannot file an appeal at the Supreme Court relating to the matter. Taking into account these objections, the Supreme Court, however, decided that the Attorney General has a legal basis to file an appeal. Further consideration of this appeal has been postponed to the 16th of July. Taking a look at more news from the courts, the police sergeant who was on security detail for the Homagaman district judge who was arrested on charges of soliciting a 300,000 rupee bribe for giving a verdict in favour of a female defendant was released on bail today. Now, the Colombo Chief Magistrate ordered that the suspect be released on a 25,000 rupee cash bail and 2 sureties amounting to 500,000 rupees each and prohibited him from travelling overseas. President's Counsel Hemantha Warnakulasuriya, who is representing the suspect district judge, informed the court that a statement had been made to the Bribery Commission officers due to the pressure exerted by the officers. Warnakulasuriya further requested for another statement to be taken from the suspect. The Chief Magistrate replied that he would make a decision following discussions with the chairman of the Bribery Commission. Hearings of this case are to be reconvened on the 10th of September. And with that, we go in for a short commercial break. More local news coming up on the other side.
The footage you just witnessed was captured recently by our provincial correspondent UK Premlal. This is our second expose on this problem.
The Jayala Pradesh Sabha disposes of its waste at this location close to the Kandana Nadurupitiya main road. News First carried an expose on the improper waste disposal taking place here on World Environment Day. The Jayala Pradesh Sabha says that about 30 tons of waste is disposed of at this location daily. This is a big problem. Innocent children travel on this road. This is being done owing to the pressure exerted by a powerful politico. If we leave a waste heap on the road, they file cases against us. Now they dump waste from other areas too and charge money for it. Children coming home from school hold their breath when they walk past here. One day they are going to suffocate. PHIs constantly pass this way. I wonder if they are blind. Accidents have occurred here owing to people holding their breath. I do not think they have found the proper treatments yet for disease that is caused by the dumping of waste from chicken meat sellers here. On the first expose carried by News First, the chairman of the Jayala Pradesh Sabha said that the issue would be resolved within a few days. This was highlighted on the Sirasa media as well, but nothing has happened. When you travel in a vehicle, you need to wash it before bringing it into the house. They say that 10,000 rupees will be given to each person in the area to deal with the smell. They come to these houses and file cases against residents for dengue breeding sites. There is no one to file a case against this massive area.
Earlier tonight we informed you that speaking at an event held in Colombo today, Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa said that politicians nowadays are more concerned with their privileges than with the public. Our producers just informed me that we do have that cut for you. Let's take a quick listen to what the Speaker had to say.
Politicians back then gave priority to the people. However, today that has changed. Today, a politician comes to Colombo and then attempts to enroll his child to Royal College or St. Thomas's College. Today, it is a privilege to become a politician. But back then, they sacrificed their privileges and lands.
The court case in relation to the mask raid discovered in the premises of the Mathle General Hospital was once again called up at the Mathle District Court today.
Additional Mathle District Judge Sampath Gamage presided over the hearing and postponed the case to the 19th of August. On the 26th of November last year, 155 bone fragments were discovered during excavations to construct a biogas unit in the premises of the Mathle General Hospital. The report of the Presidential Commission of 1997 has mentioned the names of the authorities and the high-ranking military officials responsible for the disappearances in the central province. There is no need for more commissions. What is required is for the implementation of those recommendations. If there is an attempt to appoint a commission once again relating to this matter at a time when there are legal proceedings taking place, it's clear that it is an attempt to direct this issue in a different path.
The latest data released by the Department of Census and Statistics today indicates that inflation in the country fell to 6.8% this month.
Inflation persisted at 9.8% in the months of January and February this year. Although inflation dipped in March and April, prices soared again in May. Data released today by the Department of Census and Statistics indicates that inflation dipped to 6.8% this month. However, annual real inflation is still at 8.6%. Meanwhile, trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange was limited to 2 hours today as a result of mismatches in client balances displayed on the automated trading system. Trading at the CSE was halted at 9:30 this morning owing to the technical fault. Trading resumed at the CSE at 1:15 in the afternoon. Notably, the all-share price index climbed to 6,121 points today, a 9.6% increase in comparison with the previous close.